My name is Sara, and I'm a Brazilian Sparky Art creator, designer, and digital artist. And first, I want to say I'm very happy and grateful to have been invited to this podcast. And I hope that my experience can help a little bit other people on their way to work with augmented reality. So, I would like to start talking a little bit about my first contact with XR, and it was in 2016 when a friend invited me to visit the virtual reality lab at the university where he was studying. And in that year, virtual and augmented reality wasn't being talked about as much as today. And in general, the access to this technology was still very limited. It still are, but it was much worse at that time. So at first, I thought it was just going to be like a fun experience, but it turned out to be much more than that to me because I got really surprised by the potential of that technology because even the instance in 2016 where the equipment I used was far less realistic than in Oculus Quest, the sensations were already very realistic. And among the various experiences I tested that day, one stood out very much in the sense because I'm a person who is very afraid of height, and in this experience in the virtual world, I was on a small metal square in a very, very high place. And even though in the physical world I was in a safe room, I still felt a lot of fear and I just couldn't walk inside of that. And like that really got me because at that moment I decided that I really wanted to work with that because I was just already studying about design, art, and creation. But in that moment, I saw in virtual reality the amazing opportunity to create new realities. But unfortunately, in 2016, there were few opportunities to work with virtual reality, and it just didn't happen at the time. So even though I really wanted, between 2015 and 2021, I didn't work with virtual reality or augmented reality, but I worked in other areas that really helped me during these years and gave me the skills I needed to now be working full time with virtual reality. So that's a little bit of my story. And I have like a little presentation to show a little bit about this path. So here, in the beginning, like until 2020, I worked more with design and illustration, and often I combined these two things in very different areas, such as branding, packaging, branding again, cover books, web illustrations, even printing. I did a lot because I did a lot of manual illustrations, and then I make the textures on Photoshop. And sometimes like I have in 2020 I started to work with motion design as well. And sometimes I had a strange feeling that I might be wasting my time at the moment because I wasn't really working what I wanted, that was virtual reality. But all the work I did during these 5 years really gave me a very important foundation to be able to create experiences in augmented reality. And so whoop. And so in these projects, which I worked on for 6 years, um, I really learned a lot about Photoshop, Illustrator, and After Effects, and Premiere. And I really use a lot these softwares nowadays to create augmented reality experience. And I think this is something important to talk a little bit about because as much as it's great to start straight away work in the area that you want, like my case at that time was virtual reality and now I work with augmented reality. I think that our previous knowledge can often be our differential, and even though sometimes we feel that that is not useful, if you have like a background in other things like it's not design but is like makeup or programming, crafts, architecture, like any area, I really believe that to bring a unique perspective to your work. So I'm talking a little bit because I got frustrated for a time, but then I saw it was a good thing have working with other things before working with augmented reality. But if you can start directly working with that is, I think, very, very good also. So beside the software knowledge, I also got learned a lot about soft skills such as working on a team or understanding how to turn a textual briefing to visual information, visual content that sometimes can be a very hard thing. And also during the 6 years, I never stopped trying to work with augmented and virtual reality. So I was always trying to find some way to be inside the area. And I got like two very nice results in projects I worked on. Like one of them was Mobility 360. There was an experience where with VR glasses, the user experienced the daily situations that cyclists go through in the traffic of my city, that is Porto Alegre. And one that had another very nice result was the Dharma Vr project. There was a guided meditation experience in virtual reality that was shown at the first Tech Art Festival in Porto Alegre. And it was very nice because a lot of people watched it and liked it. And after the exhibition, the project was used to teach meditation to children in classrooms. And I think that's very nice because for a long time I couldn't really work in this field, but I found ways to do even these voluntary projects to stay inside of it and talk with people of this area and really be close to it because I really like it. And after a lot of time working on these projects, like different projects and different areas, in 2020, late 2020, I met Sparky Art. And to me, it was a big change because I saw in it a much more accessible opportunity to work with extended realities, both for me and for the users, because anyone with a smartphone can use the augmented reality experience, but it's especially in countries like Brazil, it's very hard to get people that have like virtual reality glasses. And you can do like so much thing in augmented reality, and I got very excited with that. So during 2021, when I could, I watched the classes on YouTube and tried some simple things until I felt safe enough to offer the place I worked on a quiz filter for the channel's anniversary campaign. There was a news channel I was working on, and it was very nice. This filter that's here on the screen. And it was my first time doing an entire filter, both design and logic. And as much as this was a big challenge for me, I was really happy to see that I actually could do that, and it was possible. And so after that, it was nice because I had all the knowledge in design and illustration that gave me some other skills. And in 2021, I studied a lot about 3D and started studying a lot about Sparky Art. And so I had all this package that helped me to work with that. And what happened is that about the time I made that filter, that quiz filter for the place that I work on, I started doing some freelance working for Govac Reality, which is the company I work for full-time today. And that time I was freelancing concept art design for VR projects, and the work was flowing very well. And they saw that I was already managing to develop Sparky Art projects, and so they invited me for the company to work like full time in Govac Reality. That is a startup that works only with virtual and augmented reality. So with something that I wanted since 2016, I wanted to do that, and that finally happened. And since then, I have been working with them on AR and VR projects, but in the last year, I have had a big focus on augmented reality for Instagram, and it has been an amazing experience. So the way I work there is that I usually work together with a project manager and a programmer, who are two amazing people, which one like I learn a lot every day, and they really, really help me a lot in this process. And my work involves like various stages of creation, such as creating assets, scenarios, UIs, developing the user journey, creating mockups, storyboards, animation, VFX. I do like all of that, and I really like to do it. And here you can see some of the works that I did that I participated. Usually I don't do the like all by myself. I usually make this with a programmer for interactions. And I think that two of them that are very important is like this first one that I did for Bath and Body Works in Arabia, because it was my first project at the company, and it was a very, very big and complex project, like was a full game. And I did the assets, the scenarios, and I learned a lot about optimization on that because it was so much thing and so much 3D, and we just had to optimize a lot the project, and it was very nice, and I learned so much from that. And another one that was very, very special to me is this one that unfortunately I have not the full video of it, because this one, it's a long experience with target tracking, but it's important to me because I did it like 2 months ago, and this was the first project where I dealt with all the art without supervision, like being the main responsible for the creative decisions of the project. And it was made for Sicredi, that is a big financial organization here in Brazil. And you can see in the video, but it is a very big project because you have like narration, you have interaction with animations, you have cards. So it's very nice, and it was very rewarding to have this autonomy in working on large projects like that. And another project that was very important to me was the portal based on the game portal that I did for a competition of Meta, that is the Spark Wars Challenge this year. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about these competitions after that. But it was a project where I tried to apply all the knowledge I acquired in this last year and going through all the art and interaction process. So I made this all by myself. And it was a very good feeling to be able to make it, and a very good surprise that is classifying the contest. So it's very nice to be classifying the contest because you gain like a cash prize and some recognition, and it's very good to feel that you can do that. It was very, very nice to do that. And it was also selected for the Lens List, that is a website where they choose a lot of effects to put there. Like it's very, very nice. It's a site that I look a lot. And here I have like a little making of video about this project, showing a little bit of what I did. So I did the modeling and some VFX in Blender, and I used Photoshop a lot together with Blender and Material Editor to create interesting texture. I really like working with texture. I think that is because I worked a lot with illustration, so I really like that part. Usually I make like alpha textures and things like that in Photoshop. Then I apply it in the materials, like you can see here. Like here I was making the Here I was making the alpha of the floor to have the texture, and then I put there and I work with that in the material editor of Blender. And one thing that I really like to do is to make the bake after that you can see here that it's being made. And then I take that bake when it's ready. Like this one is for some objects, but here it was of the floor. And I like to make the post-production of that on Photoshop, and I think that gives a really nice aesthetics to the projects. It's something I appreciate doing. Here I was doing some effect for the portal that I have to export in 3D animations. And so it's kind of it. It's a project I'm very proud of. And it doesn't, yeah. And here it does appear, but one other thing I used to make this project was like here that I use a lot of particles. I really like using particle for projects. They give a very nice look for that. Like in the fire, you can see it here with particles. And there are so many different things to do with that, so many different effects. And yeah, that's mostly what I did in that. And if anyone has like questions about the effect or had doubt of how something was made, you can always reach me in LinkedIn, because I'm very open to share what I know so far, and I always try to help with wherever I can. And so now I'm gonna give you some quick tips, I think, that really help me. And I want to talk a little bit about also, I want to like list all the things that are here, because you can come back in the video and see that. But these are some places that really helped me to learn about AR in augmented reality in Spark, especially the groups like the forum at Popular AR Lab and the Sparky Art community. They are amazing. And so I want to use that moment a little bit to talk about how it's going to be, what I want it to be next, like in my journey, because it had so many possibilities what you can do with augmented reality. So I really like doing all the process on augmented reality of creation, since the idealization to the assets to everything. But I think that my next step on my career is that I want to specialize more and more in UX, because since the beginning, when I started to get interest about all this field, what has most impressed me is that to be able to create amazing experience for people, and experience not just for entertainment, but maybe something for health, for industry, for education, and creating experiences that really make difference in people's lives. And I think that having like a deeper understanding of UX will really help me to create better experience. So I really wanted to put a big focus on that. And I already started studying a little bit more about UX, not just for social AR, there are like AR on social media, but also about web AR in apps, because I think things are going to grow a lot in the next year or so. And here I want to talk a little bit, like I said before, about the Sparky Art Competitions, that I think are a very nice thing to participate, especially if you are like starting on Sparky Art and everything, because so far in the competitions they have been awarding people with like 500 cash prizes for authorial projects. So something that you are doing, like it's not for a client, it's just something for you that you like to do. And the last competitions, like the prizes were ranged from $300 to $20,000. So I never saw that before. I think something very interesting they're doing. And you are producing, like you can choose something different and something challenging, and while you are doing, can ask questions for the community, and it's a very nice moment to grow in your knowledge about that. And you can have like met people, talk about it, and win the prize, and got visibility and got nice feedbacks. So I really think it's a nice thing. And I think that that's mostly this that I have. That's been my journey, and that's kind of what I want to do next. And I really hope that it has been useful to a lot of people. And if anyone have, like I said before, any questions about how it's like working on this field, or about something that I said here, or anything, you really can reach me on LinkedIn, and I will always try to help, because all my life I really had a lot of people helping me to get to the place that I wanted, that is working with that full time today. And so anything I can do to help other people, I'm always going to try to do as well. So thank you very much for this opportunity here.